Hi friend, and welcome back. In our last video, you took the time to dig deep and identify your why in starting your business. I hope you are feeling inspired because your why is going to be your guiding light as you continue to grow in your entrepreneurship. Now it's time to take that energy and focus on step number 2, which is identifying your business type, those business ideas, and in step number 3 of getting into your business name. Now, before we get into the business structure, I want to just take a moment and remind you that I do have a free workbook just for you to follow along with, so that way you have lots of references to have at hand when you are going through this journey of starting your business. Just click the link below and it'll take you right there. Now let's talk about why your business structure matters. Your business structure affects everything. How much personal risk you want to have, from how you pay your taxes, and how to raise money and bring on a partner. So I'm not going to get into every single type that there is, but it is linked in the workbook that you have. But I do want to take a moment and just talk about the 2 most common types of business structure there is. Let's talk about the first one here, which is a sole proprietorship. Now, with sole proprietorship, there is only one owner. You are personally responsible for all business debts and obligations. It's great for freelancers, coaches, and solopreneurs who are just getting started. But remember, all of your personal assets are on the line here. Okay, so let's talk about the next one here, which is called a limited liability company, or in short, LLC. Now, LLCs are popular for a really good reason. You can still be a solo owner, or you can have multiple owners. You are not personally reliable for all business debts, and it offers flexibility in how you pay your taxes and run things. Now, if you're growing and you want to protect your personal assets, this is worth exploring. Yes, it can be a little bit more expensive on the front side. However, it is better than taking on the risk of losing everything should a lawsuit come your way. Now, most new businesses are either that sole proprietorship or that LLC, as I talked about. It just depends on your comfort level, your risk, and your vision for the future. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is you can absolutely build up to one of these other business types, such as a partnership, a corporation, so on and so forth. So it's just about getting yourself started. Now, I do want to strongly encourage you to seek legal advice. That's what I had done. I had chosen the LLC for me because I did not want to take the risk that, God forbid, something happen and I lose everything. So my attorney made it a point to tell me to just start with an LLC and see where it goes from there. The other piece I will tell you is it's really good to get yourself a CPA, which is a personal accountant, to help you with all of your business expenses. Because the great thing about purchasing an attorney is you can also write that off on your taxes. But again, I just strongly advise that you always seek legal advice before making any big decision, because it'll really help you in the long run. Okay, now that we've covered all of the legal stuff, let's get into the really fun part of your business, and actually everything you're going to be talking to your attorney about, which is talking through those business ideas that you have, and then also those business names that you have come up with. Now, coming up with the perfect business idea can feel a little overwhelming. Maybe you're thinking, I don't even know where to start, or maybe my idea isn't good enough. But here's the secret. The best ideas often come from that intersection between your passion, your skills, and the needs of the world. What problems do you see around you that need to be solved? Now let's get started and answer some questions that are really going to get the wheels turning here. So before you do that, flip over page number 10 in the workbook that I have for you, or you can grab a piece of paper and a pen, and let's open up open up a notes app rather, and let's get started with answering some of these questions. So question number 1 here, what are you passionate about? Question 2, what skills or talents do others find value in what you do? Question 3, what problems do you see in your life or the world around you that you think need solving? Question 4, what are the things that light you up, those activities or ideas that make time fly for you? Question number 5, if you could spend your days doing anything, what would it be? So maybe, for example, you love baking and you have mastered the art of sourdough. I know that's a really big trend right now and people love it, but so many people are wanting to do it and they realize that in the beginning, it seems like it's so much harder than what it truly is. And maybe you have the niche and the knack to be able to just get it done really quickly, where people can go from feeding their sourdough to baking bread in a matter of days. That's your passion. You love helping people do that, and you can just see people's eyes light up when they show you their freshly baked bread that you helped them create. Now, it's okay if your passion doesn't quite come to clarity yet. Maybe you have some ideas just swirling around in your head, but you don't quite know where to go from here. Well, guess what? Our next video is going to cover the post-it party activity, because I am a firm believer that the more you brainstorm, the more everything falls in place, and then you're going to start to see, wow, I am onto something here with this idea around my business. Now, don't worry about finding something that is perfect or already successful. There are plenty of people who have turned simple ideas into very successful businesses. And there is room for your unique approach too. Now, Amy Porterfield has an incredible quote, and I want you to repeat this to yourself as I read it to you. Write it down and put it on a sticky note. And what she says is, there is an abundance of success to go around, and I am absolutely deserving and open to receiving my share. Now let's get into selecting your business name. Choosing a name is one of the biggest first steps in making your business feel real. It's what people will recognize you by, and it plays a huge role in the identity of your brand. But here's the thing, you can't just pick any name that comes to mind. There are a few things we need to keep in mind to make sure it works for your business. So here's a little secret you might not expect. The name you have your heart set on might not be available. Yep, that's right. You might fall in love with a name only to find out that the domain was already taken or somebody else already owns the name. This is where your attorney comes in handy. So here's my advice. Come up with at least 3 different name options. This way, if your first choice isn't available, you've got backups. Okay, so what goes into a great business name anyway? Let's take a look at a few examples to help get the brainstorming going. First thing to think about, is it simple and easy to remember? A great name sticks in people's minds. If it's simple, it's catchy, and it's easy to pronounce, chances are you've got a great name. If it's really complicated and people have a hard time trying to pronounce it, you might have a hard time finding your ideal customer. Second, it reflects your brand. Think about the message that you want your business name to send. Does your name align with your mission and what you stand for? Third, is it unique and it stands out? You want a name that differentiates you from others in your industry. 4, is it easy to spell? If people can't spell it, they won't be able to find you. And keep it simple. I ran into this with my business. I have a hard time spelling, and my first business name ended in boundaries. And I could not for the life of me spell boundaries. Some of you might spell it great. Some of you may struggle with it too, but I ran into that issue and it caused me a lot of heartburn in the beginning when I was launching my business. Make sure it's simple and it's something that someone can spell. And last, is it available online? Now we're talking about your domain name, your social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. The last thing you want is to have a great business name and find out that all of a sudden someone else has that same handle that you do. We'll get more into domain names in 2 videos from now, but just keep that in mind when you are building your business name. Now, here's something I just want to put out here for your business name. It does not have to be the same as your domain name. So your domain name and your business name can be 2 separate things. Your business name is strictly just what is reported to your government and to the state for tax purposes. So you can have a bunch of different branches and you can have separate businesses that go underneath the umbrella of your business name. For myself, I wanted to have my domain name the same as my business name. lovelightlive.com is my domain, and Love Light Live Coaching and Consulting is my business name. Now, if I choose to add on a branch, like I had mentioned, like a personal brand, and I'm going to go and do a brand on Holly Powell, that's an option too. So just know that they don't have to go hand in hand. It's just personal preference. All right, so now it's time to get to brainstorming. After you answered all of those questions, I want you to take all of those ideas you had and let's come up with some potential names. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. Write down at least 10 possible names on the back of your work page of 11 or on another sheet of paper. Don't hold back. Okay, so now that you have a bunch of options, it's time to narrow them down by asking yourself these. Which names feel like they truly represent your business? Does it resonate with your why that we established earlier? Does it stand out and feel unique in your own industry? Because you really want to pick names that resonate with you and represent your vision for the future. Okay, now that you've completed that activity, I want you to now take that entire list that you've created and narrow it down to the top 3 options. These top 3 options are what's going to be submitted to the attorney, so that way your attorney can turn the articles in and get your business established. Remember, they have to make sure that it is in fact available before they can submit your articles so your business can be established, because that's why you have normally 3 options. If the first one's not available, then they'll go to the other 2. That's why I say don't get your heart set on it just yet, especially if you want everything to fall in line with what it all filters under. Like mine was Love, Light, Live. I needed to make sure that everything was in fact available before I could submit all the paperwork, because if not, it'll make your life so much harder to do that. Now, once you get that paperwork back, it only takes a couple of days typically to do that. Your attorney will then let you know next steps, and then I would go and start looking at your domain name and how to build your website. So we'll get into that in a later video, but now you've completed these steps and you're on your way to submitting for your business. Now that you have the type of business that you want established, you have your business ideas churning, and now you have your business name, we're going to take those ideas and break them down into something more tangible. We will be doing a fun exercise that I like to call the Post-it party. So don't forget to grab a stack of Post-its. I recommend different colors, and your pens. Until next time, you've got this. I'll see you in my next video.